Liliana Resinovich, an astrological portrait by Ciro Discepolo. Liliana Resinovich was born in Trieste on April 26, 1958, at 12:10 p.m., as confirmed by the full birth certificate requested and received directly by the undersigned. When a birth time is so clear, precise, and detailed, it is almost pointless to doubt its authenticity. Liliana, therefore, was a Taurus with both ascendant and moon in Leo, but she was above all a Sagittarius/Capricorn, as her natal sun was almost perfectly conjunct the midheaven. Her two dominant factors were Uranus and the Sun, with Neptune as a subdominant. Despite the tight Neptune-Sun opposition, I completely rule out any suicidal intent on her part. Quite the opposite, precisely because of her Taurus values. She loved life. What I call the intercepted sign, meaning the highest indicator of libido and energetic direction, was, as mentioned, twofold, Sagittarius and Capricorn, though certainly more Sagittarius given the strong contribution of Leo values, ascendant moon and natal Uranus. Indeed, she loved to travel, explore, and constantly move around. And she objectively did so for many years, even if economic reasons led her, above all, to favor short-distance trips by car, train, bicycle, rather than long intercontinental flights. This first double confirmation, coming from the stars and from objective biographical elements reconstructed by investigators, allows us to understand something fundamental. Her ego was projected outward, toward the distant, toward exploration and life itself. She could never be confused with the depressive side of Taurusy that sometimes emerges when natives face real economic difficulties or threats to their sense of financial security. See, for example, the current situation of Vittorio Sgarbi, to whom I recently dedicated a YouTube video. Not only that, her Venus in Pisces, though afflicted, also tells us of a pronounced sensuality in the full sense of the term, enjoying fresh air, good food, and all the beautiful things life can offer. Nothing, and I emphasize nothing, in this chart speaks of suicide, whereas there can be no doubt about the astrological sector that penalized her most. The husband. Read through the double significators of the 7th and 5th houses, where, not by chance, and we find Mars and Saturn. If in the future I were to undertake further strenuous statistical research, I might choose to count how many murdered individuals had natal Mars in the 7th house. But Saturn in the 5th is hardly less significant. It speaks of dissatisfaction within the couple, frustrations linked to the absence of motherhood, and a heavy, burdensome husband. For decades I have noted that the husband may be read both in the 5th and 7th houses, therefore attempting to twist symbols, archetypes, and mythologisms in order to prove that with Mars in the 7th house, one is statistically more likely to die by suicide than by homicide, is like claiming that a Cancer with the Sun in the 4th house works professionally as an explorer. Another important feature of this psychological astrological configuration is the independent and self-affirming direction of the ego, simultaneously expressed by the Uranian dominance and strong Leo elements. Liliana certainly reacted by withdrawing into herself when attacked, even verbally, by her husband, as indicated by the aforementioned Sun-Neptune opposition, but the primary direction of her energy was unmistakably clear: to live. However, a heavy mortgage lay upon her life prospects. The nearly perfect opposition between Mars in the 7th house, the husband, and Pluto in the 1st. Her Venus in the 8th house is yet another key piece of this mosaic, indicating that her life, but above all her death, would have significant repercussions on the economic level. Does that suggest anything to you? Ciro Discepolo, Milan, December 11th, 2025. Note: I have written many more pages dedicated to Liliana Resinovich and to the horrific events that led to her death, all published in a substantial chapter of my book Deliti and Delitidosu Ricerca 90, Milan 2224, 442 pages.